Okay, here's part 2 of the 7.5 notes. We're going to go over example 2. Now we're going to use that tangent ratio to find the missing side. Basically find the value of x, okay? So here it says find the value of x. Use the tangent of an acute angle to find a length. So notice it says of an acute. So when you do this, you will see always the 90-degree angle in our triangle, but that is not an acute. Remember, acute angle means it's less than 90. So you have to use the other angle they give to you to find the missing side. Okay, so if we look at this one, we do have the 90 degrees, but we never ever use that in our trig ratios. Instead, we use the other angle they gave to us. So we look at this example, the other angle they gave to us was 31. So here, I'm going to use tangent because they told us to use that. So I have tangent. Now, instead of just putting like the letter that we did, we will put the numbers. So tangent of 31 equals, now we do the opposite over adjacent. Remember, that's always tangent. So if you have to write that to remember it, I highly suggest doing that. Okay, let's label our opposite and adjacent sides. So remember, opposite is across from the degree. In this case, it's 17, so that's our opposite. And then therefore, the only thing we have left is the x, and that's the adjacent. Make sure you use the information they give to you. So if there is a blank side and they don't have a variable there, don't use it, okay? So opposite is going to be 17 over x. Now, like we've been doing from last chapter and when we were doing this, we've been doing a lot of proportions. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually make this a proportion and cross multiply to get our answer. So how can I make tan of 31 into a fraction? Well, remember, you can make anything into a fraction as long as you put it over 1. So we're going to do that. And now it's a proportion and we can cross multiply. So I do x times tangent of 31 equals 17. Now I still need to get this x all by itself, okay? So in order to do that, I need to make sure I divide both sides by tangent of 31, okay? And remember, we do that because it is the opposite of multiplication. So tangent of 31, that gets rid of it, and we get x equals. Now this is where you have to actually use the calculator. And this is where I'm going to teach you how do we use our calculator to find trig ratios. Okay, so I am using a graphing calculator for this. So if you're using a scientific, it's going to be very similar. So the first thing we need to make sure is our mode. So on the graphing calculator, what you need to do is make sure that it's in degree mode. If it's in this other mode, which we call radian, then you might get negative numbers. We don't want that. We want it in degree mode. So what you need to do is just kind of use your down arrow and then go to the right and then press enter to make sure it's in degree mode. Now we're good to go. So go second mode and that gets you out of this, okay? So now we're going to place what we have here. We have 17 divided by. So I'm going to put 17, I need divided by. I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses to help me out. So if you have a scientific, this is where you need to use your parentheses. Now tangent. Where are you going to find this on your calculator? So if you go down to where we have this x to the negative first, scroll over, you're going to see TAN. That's our tangent button. So you're going to press that. Now from here, you see we have parentheses. In there, we're going to put what we have as our degree, which is 31. Now, we need to do 2 sets of parentheses because it closes that 31, and then we close the tangent. Now, you press enter, and then we're going to get our answer. So your answer, it is very possible to get a decimal, and that is okay. Notice that in our instructions, it does say round to the nearest tenth. So that's what we're going to do. So here we have 28 point. Now, notice that the number behind the 2 is a 9. That means we need to round up. So our answer here is going to be 28.3. And remember, we are dealing with the side, so that's just going to be your answer. So x is going to be 28.3, and that's our answer. Okay, make sure you watch the last part of the videos because we're going to go over example 3.